welcome to another edition of In Between the Zone. I am your boy Drizzy Dre, the remix and the Sprite.
The what?
It's not even strong enough.
The
Sorry.
remix of the Sprite.
I like the Sprite remixes. I don't like this. It's a difference.
Just go ahead. Jesus.
What are you trying to create here?
The 1,000 nicknames thing is goofy, but he does it every show, so whatever.
Let go it ahead. Go and just
go ahead, Mr. INDEP.
CREVONTEHURDE. And I hate you because I wanted to say my name like that, so stop.
Got a little dance with it.
Crevonte Hurde.
C-E-V.
Twitter, Facebook. Crevonte _ Hurde on Instagram.
Oh, we switching up. We're not doing the now it's
That's what he's doing. He's getting on my nerves. That's what he's doing.
I'm just a girl called Mykell Ramos. That's a little big known out here. But I host the best sports class. Excuse me?
You're back.
I'm back where?
Another show.
Oh, you know I wasn't going anywhere. When the Flex Zone calls, I run because these are my brothers. So what can I do without them? Wouldn't have been nothing without them. With that said, moving on to the future, I am the host of your favorite sports podcast, roaming the airways, rolling with Ramos. Make sure that you roll with the Ramos every week, people, by going on SoundCloud and iTunes. We also are on the podcast on your iPhones. You can go search The Working Class under podcast. Rolling with Ramos, we're right there. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and on Facebook at Rolling with Ramos. And you can follow me, your favorite host, at Mykell Shada. That's MYKELLSADE, like the singer. Shout out to my boy Tristan. Tristan Moore is the best friend and co-host a girl can ever have.
Well, we have to take care of our own house rules here at the Flex Zone. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Flex Zone Podcast. Put that right in, and we are what, brother?
The first one.
Like our Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter at the Flex Zone 1. And if you have any questions, ideas, or possibly want to be a guest, send an email to theflexzone1@gmail.com.
It's like he's trying to beat his time. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Can I just...
Can you be great? No.
Yes. I remember when I used to say the credits at the end of the show. That's how you used to try to do them too. And he used to be like, "You
going down memory lane? Are we doing this?
Back down memory lane."
Sing it with the right tone.
Give me a topic, because y'all gonna do this all day.
You're so
Give me a topic.
All right, so we're here. Let's jump right into. Let us jump right into it.
That's how we gonna be.
Because you said we can do this back and forth all day, so let's get right into it.
Act like we was going somewhere.
Why does NCAA basketball seem more competitive than WNBA basketball?
I heard that one before.
That is a good question. I think that WNBA is at a disadvantage because it's the youngest. It's the youngest as compared to the NCAA. In the WNBA inaugural season was 1997, and they only had about 12 teams scattered across the country. And I think an issue that the WNBA has is keeping these teams in their respective cities. I remember there was a team by the name of the Orlando Miracle early on, but then years down the line, Orlando didn't have a team anymore. Then boom, Chicago has a team. Now I believe Las Vegas has a team, and it's hard to keep. It's hard to keep engagement when your city has a team and then you take it away, because it's like a whole fan base gone. So I mean, the NCAA is the NCAA. Those schools aren't going anywhere. So it's like more players, easier spread it out. I feel like there's dynasties that's already happened in the WNBA in this short amount of time. Not to say that there hasn't been in college basketball, but at least it's still competitive. They still have the NCAA tournament that's a lot of teams that's trying to, and it's going to be one team that goes to the goes to the big dance, like when it's all said and done. So it's like WNBA doesn't have quite the excitement that the NCAA has.
I mean, let's be real. I mean, when you want to watch fundamentally sound basketball, you watch the WNBA. It does. I mean, you have the likes of Maya Moore. You got the GOAT herself, the Kobe of the WNBA. You got Diana Taurasi. You have all these names. Elena Deladon, but people. Maya Moore. People aren't.
Skylar Diggins.
Yes.
Candace Parker.
But people aren't drawn to the WNBA because I feel as though the mass appeal that NBA players and NCAA players get even as long as this league has been progressed, it has not progressed to you sit and you wait for the NBA season to come back. You sit and you wait for the NCAA season. You want March Madness to be in the height of things, but let's be real, by the time the WNBA starts, you're already within the NBA finals. A lot of people aren't even paying attention to what's going on as of yet. And it's unfortunate because it's almost like the middle child that nobody wants to respect all the time. And it's unfair because there's some great female basketball players. Diana Taurasi, just spoke about her alone. She just broke a record. She holds the record. So now it's like looking at the WNBA, people tend to forget. I don't know if you guys remember, but I remember the excitement that was the WNBA. You remember
when it first started?
The commercial
Absolutely.
with Rebecca Lobo, and you had Cheryl Swoops.
Yes.
And they were coming through this tunnel, and they were walking through they were coming through the tunnel, and everybody was excited. And as a little girl, I grew up loving Rebecca Lobo, and my family's from Connecticut, so you got to talk Swin Cash, you got to talk about her, you got to talk about Becky Hammond, and the likes of those, and Teresa Weatherspoon in the New York Liberty uniform. If you want to talk, we talked Allen Iverson in the last episode. That is the Allen Iverson of the WNBA, and the seats were packed in Madison Square Garden to watch these ladies. But as the years go by, things changed. Appeal, social media.
I mean, what do we refer to it as, the dub? But also, guys, you are tuned into In Between the Zone. Make sure that you comment anytime to let us chime in, and chime in on this great discussion. I mean, for us, like you're talking about the WNBA. I mean, what about an iconic figure such as Lisa Leslie? I mean, that's
Lisa Leslie was a dunker before Brittany Griner. You guys thinking you're seeing her? Yeah. Lisa Leslie showed the world what it was to dunk, and you forget when you come to these WNBA players, the WNBA and the players that they've taken to the Olympics, they are undefeated in the Olympics. Where the guys have gotten silver, the girls have never gotten below gold.
I mean, facts. I mean, but for me, I think that when we're talking about the question of why people prefer NCAA basketball over WNBA basketball, for me, is what, to piggyback off of what Crevonte said, it's about iconic figures and dynasties. Like, when we're always, every year, it's like, who's going to knock off UConn? What school is going to be the one to do it? I mean, you've had the Notre Dames over the years to do it. It was Mississippi State a few years ago when they had that streak at UConn. I mean, you think about,
and South Carolina was in the mix as well.
You think about you talk about UConn, Gino Auriemma. I'd never get my man's name right. But I mean, the fact that you
think
do
about
somebody like that
in the WNBA. I mean, look what's going on between the Sparks and the Minnesota Lynx with Maya Moore and Candace Parker. And is Maya gonna avenge? Is Candace gonna take it back after she lost it? Mm-hmm. I mean, let's be real. You talking about Cheryl Swoops, Tina Thompson. That was
the first dynasty.
The comments were amazing, and then you talk about the New York Liberty. They could never get past the comments when it came to playing in the WNBA championship. It was what it was. Mm-hmm. So you've seen, I mean, Lisa Leslie all those years and as an LA Spark. So you've seen dynasties, but to recreate it in the form where it's respected enough as guys is a very unfortunate matter that. I mean, silence, but it's just an unfortunate matter that it can't come to that.
Like some head coaches in college basketball, like Pat Summitt.
God rest his soul.
Yeah. Rest in peace. One of the greatest of all time.
Vivian Stringer. I think about.
I think of sportscasters like Nancy Lieberman,
Rebecca Lobo.
Yes.
Kara Lawson.
So I mean,
and then
who does play-by-play for the Wizards.
And also, I think that for me, it's player based. I mean, you named like Rebecca Lobo, but I mean, she was from you're following from college to the pro level, and sometimes I don't know why it seems like it's hard to, once they leave college, to get over. I mean, some people you do, like the Candace Parkers, the Maya Moores, the Brittany,
WNBA.
the Brittany Griners.
She would have been able to transcend into the WNBA. we might have not. Well, at least we would have time to allow the WNBA to develop. I mean, this was the first woman that everybody was expecting. A lot was saying she was better than her brother Reggie.
Yeah.
But she could have
let him tell it. He'll say that she was better than me.
So, you know.
So, I mean, what? Sue Bird. I mean, like you said, Cheryl Swoops. Well, I mean,
Cheryl Swoops one of the greatest of all time.
I mean, me and Crevonte, we got to put in our girl Skylar. Did we say Skylar Diggins?
Absolutely. I shouted it out, but we can do it again.
Gotta talk about Diana Taurasi.
Yes.
Girl, man. I think, but it's
Shout out to Shanae Ogwumike, because now she's making waves being on ESPN and being a WNBA player.
I think, I don't know. I think it's just really unfortunate because the NCAA, it seems like it already has a system that works, and the WNBA is still trying to figure theirs out. It's like for a stretch we had something, then it fell off. The marketing sponsorships, they just aren't there for the WNBA like it is for NCAA or the NBA and things like that. I think the NCAA has a system that's proven it works, and it works time in and time out, and it doesn't look like it's going to change anytime soon because it doesn't have to. If it isn't broke, don't fix it. Mm-hmm. As opposed to the WNBA, who's still trying to still trying to piece some things together.
They're trying to piece together the total brand, where now you're seeing individual female athletes, women athletes, basketball players becoming their own entities. I mean, look what Skylar Diggins is doing.
We have to.
When it comes to the Jordan, see what she's doing there with her own lines, and you kind of come to realize she's a very beautiful woman that can also play basketball. Mm-hmm. You got to look at Maya Moore and her iconic figure of her with her arms out like that iconic Michael Jordan figure, and they pay homage to her with a sneaker under the Jordan brand. And these women are going in trying to create brands and be brands outside of. Let's be real. They're not getting paid to the limits that they're getting paid. And even in the NCAA level, because the NCAA level, they're not getting paid neither, but the conglomerate that's involved in it
that's a big machine.
A bigger thing than that can overtake. So,
I mean, we got Gino with his 900 wins, Pat Summitt, the first ever woman to get 1,000 wins in Division I basketball. Vivian Stringer, the winningest African American women's head coach of all time.
Talk about Dawn Staley, what she's doing now.
Dawn Staley, that's huge because that program wasn't much before she got there.
No, I mean, and then like we were saying, certain schools just have that. The UConns, the Tennessees. I mean, Duke basketball, Maryland basketball. I mean,
definitely, yeah. Tennessee, Shaniqua whole squad, man. She was one of the. She was a Washington Mystic, so I love going to games watching her play. Girl was bad.
But I mean, both products are really good. It's just that can the WNBA just, like you said, if maybe with that sponsorship and the fact that they are under the NBA umbrella, I mean, it's just you just hate to see. It's
tough. They're obviously they're not pushed. They're not pushed. The machine isn't working as hard for them as it is for the NBA.
But the unfortunate thing about this is, fellas, we can sit and have this conversation, but we're going to continue to have this conversation for years to come because it's been going on and on and on. It's just something that is. It's just not right, but it's just something that is.
Yeah. Well, y'all, this concludes our first segment here on In Between the Zone. Make sure that you come back for more. Stay tuned.
America, what's up? I am the host of your favorite sports podcast, roaming the airwaves, rolling with Ramos. Make sure you roll with the Ramos every week by going to SoundCloud and iTunes, people. Shout out to the best co-host to ever do it, Tristan Morris, my good friend. I'm nothing without you, brother. This ain't really about rolling with Ramos right now. I know I'm giving the whole promo here, but when the Flex Zone calls, when my brothers call, I come.
Yes, he does. Yes, we appreciate you, Mykell, for shouting out the Flex Zone.
Oh, you're so amazing.
Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Put in the Flex Zone podcast. We are what, brother?
The first one.
Yes, and then go ahead and like our Facebook page, The Flex Zone, where you can catch In Between the Zone every Friday at 7 p.m.
Goofiness.
And then after you do that, make sure you roll with the Ramos still every week.
Did you just try to box us out?
Yeah.
It's not a thing.
Roll with the Ramos.
Damn.
It's like a mother.
Welcome to In Between the Zone. I don't know if we even caught the little things that go on in beforehand, but
in between the in-between.
The in-between the in-between.
Of the zone.
I am your boy Drizzy Dre. Follow me on Instagram, The Black American Dream.
Goofy. Black American Goofy.
Well, and what are we? INDEPCEVEE.
You just saying stuff.
HUR. Oh wait a minute. I'm sorry. We do it like we're playing it. We're playing the piano now. So you make sure you follow him at CREVON. Go ahead. Are you playing soccer?
We're gonna land here. This is for the airplane. Here we go. We're gonna land here. Hey, goofiness has landed. There we go. Crevonte Hurde, CREVONTE Facebook and Twitter. Crevonte_Hurde on Instagram.
You kind of make him spell it like that. Have to sound like that the way you make him spell it.
He started.
So you did that.
He started his own goofiness. I didn't start any of this. I let him be great. It wasn't until he wouldn't let me be the man of 1,000 nicknames.
But you can't even count to 1,000.
Miss, I can count pretty well. And
let us regale the tale of what your Instagram name used to be. Drizzy_Drake__.
When these two.
So, are you rolling with a G or are you rolling with no G?
I am rolling with a G. You can follow your favorite sports podcast roaming the airwaves every week by tuning in on SoundCloud and on iTunes. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Rolling with Ramos. Shout out to the best co-host ever, my great friend, my compadre, my amigo. There's so many ways to say this whole thing, but he is the greatest, Tristan Morris. Make sure you roll with the Ramos, your favorite sports podcast roaming the airways every week. I happen to be the host. And if you want to follow me individually, please follow me individually at Mykell Sade. That's MYKELLSADE. Just like the singer, America.
Just like the singer.
You never heard of Sade?
I said that all the time.
I know.
Stop.
Like
the singer?
Right.
I never heard you say that before.
And then what is it? Kevin Mykell, like...
I am Mykell.
You messing up on purpose. Both of y'all do that.
Yeah, and the clock is dead every 5 hours of the day when you hit it and on smash it, okay?
You tried it.
I'm the most that's important.
Of course, though, what you're here for, ladies and gentlemen, subscribe to
Please pull the card up.
subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Flex Zone Podcast. Just simply put it in. It is what, my brother?
The first one.
Like our Facebook page. And on Twitter and Instagram at the Flex Zone 1. Of course, if you have any questions, ideas, or possibly want to be a guest, send an email to theflexzone1@gmail.com. Let's get right into it, y'all.
That's the only thing you can say right. That last part. Everything else is gentleman. That's what we get.
Where's Byron when you need him? Like I said,
What, to pump you up for
to tell me that I don't set the bar because I am the bar.
You need him to be great. You're supposed to walk in great. Please, next topic, sir.
Look.
I'm waiting.
Look.
I'm waiting. Put your
So the question we want to have is which city will win a championship first, Washington or Baltimore? You guys just
well, if you want to be technical, we already got one up. Within this last couple of days.
It's a new season already. Look,
we're not going to effing suck, just like our boy said.
Baltimore. I mean, technically, you can't even apply that here with Baltimore because we don't have a hockey team. So.
But you said which city?
I said who will. I didn't say who had. This is a past tense. English teacher.
Was this summer, sir. This just was a month ago. So the first one to make it. Now, if are you talking? Is this question going to be flushed out to who's going to be the next to be able to accomplish another goal in sports in Baltimore or D.C.?
Yes, because we know that Washington ain't gonna get one anytime soon. So.
I mean, y'all didn't make the playoffs last year neither, did you, brother?
We're a lot closer than you guys.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Now he's from Baltimore.
Okay, no. We're not even gonna get to that.
And where are you from?
So
Connecticut, DC, PG.
Anyway.
Silver Spring. Which one is it? I don't know.
Anyway.
Please.
So, obviously, because Baltimore is
the best
lacking. Is lacking. And a major league hockey team and a major league basketball team. We'll leave it at baseball.
Our team was their team.
We'll leave it at baseball and football. It's funny because we have two separate problems. Baltimore's problem is y'all cheap. Both y'all front offices for the Orioles and the Baltimore Ravens are cheap, and y'all don't take care of home. Y'all let y'all players walk, and they go off in other places and be great. Now, DC, we'll pay everybody.
We'll even pay the wrong people.
Which we
Shout
do.
out to Albert Hayes.
We've done more often than not. We'll pay everybody.
Dion.
You know, despite if you had a big name, you came to DC, you were gonna get broke off. I feel as though if we were to ever come together with the money and the money and the personnel and player personnel and money, we could be great together. But since we're separate, we'll just be two misfits separately.
And I think when you talk about Baltimore, you talk about a town, you talk about a place where they're used to some sort of togetherness within consistency. Okay, the Capitals have won this year's Stanley Cup Finals, but at the same time, when you talk about continuity in a city, there's no way to be constant, because in a perfect world, if the Capitals win this Stanley Cup, all you need from the Nationals is to get to the World Series, which they're predicted to do dang near every year. All you need is the Redskins. I mean, you need the Nationals to get over a hump that they can never get over. You need the Redskins to at least, if they make it past the wild card, that's a celebration. If they get it to playoffs, it's a celebration. Past the wild card is even more. And then if the Wizards even make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, that'll be a hell of a year. But the continuity and the consistency of greatness. I mean, let's be real. 20 years is a long time, America. I ain't even make it to the parade. The last time the Washington Redskins won something, I was 3. And in my natural life, I wasn't even old enough to recollect it.
1992.
Wasn't even old enough to recollect it. So me going to the parade for the Capitals would have been me seeing something in my natural life that I probably won't see for the teams that I want to see it in, that I actually rep.
Crevonte, you talked about, one thing in Baltimore. I don't really think it's a problem with us being cheap. I think it's a problem when we get people to come here on their last legs. We've gotten some broken down people over the years. I mean, I'm thinking about just alone Steve McNair. Just having Steve. I mean, he had a good.
McNair opened the offensive lines for what you see now in Baltimore. So please don't talk about Steve McNair.
No, he had a good run, but I mean, still, we got him at the very tail end.
He was after Titans.
And Titan Steve McNair was like limping his way into Baltimore. I mean, when you talk about like the Baltimore Orioles, I mean, I'm thinking about somebody just alone of a Sammy Sosa. We didn't have the Cubs Sammy Sosa. We had Sammy Sosa, like when he was broken down, Sammy Soda. Who at this point in his life, he don't know if he's, what complexion he is at this juncture.
Sammy. What happened to you, Sammy?
We're real. Derek Mason is probably one of the few exceptions that have actually panned out. But I mean, he was on his last tidbit.
Steve Smith coming to Baltimore rejuvenated his career.
Steve Smith. Like I said, I mean, every now and then we'll get little nuggets, but I just hate when we get players and it's like the very end. It's almost like Baltimore's like a last stop for them.
Y'all need Jesus. Y'all always have a.
Here we go with the Ray Lewis.
You always have a Messiah ready to descend down and give a prayer of winning over the city, and you can, and yeah.
I think the problem is neither organization is consistent, and that's what you need to get a ring and be, at least considered a contender to get a ring. You have to have consistency, and neither organization has had that. I think the Redskins are finally moving in the right direction. We're not overpaying free agents as much. Finally getting a veteran quarterback that's not on his last leg, and the Ravens is like, I think it's time for a new changing of the guard. I think it's time for a new coach. I think it's time for a new quarterback. And Ozzie has already said he's stepping down, so I think it's just time for a new era, a new voice, a new face, and then we can start working upward. Now to the Redskins.
Because I was going.
Daniel Snyder.
I was going to say from the head down.
Daniel Snyder and Bruce Allen. I do not understand.
Poor Scott McCloughan, before everything came out with him about his personal issues, and Scott McCloughan we trusted because Scott McCloughan was doing his thing.
I mean, because our problem was we don't draft well. We try to fix our problems in free agency.
However, I will say this, and I don't know if you agree on this. A typical good year for the Washington Redskins is a Washington Redskins organization that stays out of the media during the summer.
Yes, absolutely.
I hope that wasn't a catalyst for anything to start. Please don't start doing nothing stupid.
Your quarterback,
the more quiet, the more quiet it is. I mean, how long are you?
Wasn't this guy just on Dancing with the Stars?
Alex,
Josh Norman. That's his personality.
That's just who he
but
is.
He's not the quarterback, so we're good.
We're fine.
As long as not Alex Smith out here doing all the goofiness, we good.
Just
because we've had. Hey, listen. We're not gonna get into it. I heard we heard all the jokes.
Hey, we good.
Well, welcome to our world. You got a former Washington Redskin and Robert Griffin III. I hope he gets some playing time in the Ravens uniform.
Yeah.
Hey, look, we got Lamar Jackson. That cat lucky. He just there collecting a check.
That was done because they're looking futuristic out of Flacco and seeing that his last leg is coming soon every year.
I think the fact is though, is honestly just a whole thing of goofiness and Crevonte's to Crevonte's point because
because if this is goofiness, you need like something else.
I am the bar. No, I'm whatever, man.
That's what he meant to say.
I'm the bar. In the words of Byron.
He's Alex Trebek, and every time you have a point, you just come grab his card.
I don't want to.
All right, go back to your question.
I think about Donovan McNabb and what was the he didn't have the cardiovascular fortitude.
Oh my God! There's so many
words
words just to say he don't have it no more.
That one just got me in the 2-minute drill, and then you put Rex Grossman in, who wasn't he didn't even warm up throwing the football. He was warming up his legs like he was about to kick a field goal, and in the first play, he wasn't innocent.
That's funny to you. This is funny. This is funny to you. Listen, to be a contender for a ring. Owner, GM, head coach, quarterback.
Gotta be in one accord.
Gotta be
and
in one
make the
accord.
best decisions that are for the team. I haven't always felt as though Dan Snyder made football decisions that were best for the team within operations. I think he made situations better based on revenue. But let's be real, you're in the nation's capital, outside Orlando, Maryland. What money do you think you're not going to get? If you want money, go just own the John Rockets at your own, my good man.
Not only that though, but I do want to say something about both owners, Steve Bisciotti and Dan Snyder's, that I think that both of them honestly are invested in their organizations, and they do really. Their heart is there. They really do want the best for both owners. Really want the best.
But heart doesn't resonate the right move.
I mean, you talk about us with Angelo's, with the Orioles. That one, I don't think he is invested as much because we've seen the cheapness over and over again. When we've had Rob Parker on the Flex Zone, and he talked about that window in baseball, and sometimes in baseball, just with any sport, but particularly with baseball, you know the pieces that you need. And at the time when the Orioles were making that playoff push, we had all the hitters. The only thing we was missing was the pitching, and we couldn't get a big name pitcher. And I don't think it was necessarily a fact of not having and not bringing somebody to Baltimore that Baltimore wasn't a good place to come to. I think it was just the aspect of cheapness. The fact that why are you so cheap? I like teams that I like an owner who he knows and that's one of the reasons I really love the Yankees, because they'll put out the bank account. It's like, all right, if need be, the chips are in there. And I like those type of owners who are willing to just invest. If you got to pay the luxury tax, whatever it takes to win, just do it.
Pay the luxury tax, but make the right decisions. Dan Snyder paid the luxury tax. We got Albert Hainsworth.
And we still haven't recovered. He's probably still the worst free agent signing of all time.
So let's just keep
in any
real.
sport.
I knew the Redskins had turned that whole free agency thing around when Julius Peppers was on the market and he was still in his prime and he did not come to DC, and I thought that was going to happen. I'm glad that did not happen.
Like I said, I think we're finally moving in the right direction, but I still think Bruce Allen has to go.
So, but I mean, back to we still have to say though we're bashing both organizations.
DC will get a championship before anything in Baltimore ever coincides to get anything.
Okay, let me ask the rate.
More numbers, more things on the table. We have more of a possibility.
When this goes up, Mykell, what happens?
I don't listen to that. Who am I?
The voice of reason. I want you to answer. Thank you. The floor is yours.
I am gonna go with looking at both organizations on both sides. I think the Nationals are higher on the list than the Orioles, and I think the Redskins and the Ravens are about even. So, in that sense, I'm going to say DC has a slight edge over Baltimore.
You just politically correctly said what I said.
I will say this. The Nationals have a better chance because the Orioles were just in total rebuild mode.
Sure.
Now.
Yeah.
So, that one you do have. But you guys will be the same once Bryce Harper leaves to go to either the Yankees or the Dodgers or the Cubs. So I mean, your window's closed.
Who's your baseball team?
We know.
We're not even going to talk about Baltimore.
We know I'm a proud member of the.
We'll see what happens. This is going to take
evil
a lot
empire.
Like I said, it's going to take a lot of important moves and consistency within organizations to show that they matter in leagues that they have. That they share. What they all do share is the fact that when you look at the Ravens and when you look at the Washington Redskins, the Wizards have yet to build that yet because their tradition lies in the Bullets. But you have teams, cities, organizations with rich traditions. You will still go to a Ravens game. You will still go to a Redskins game and defeat. We are out there. We are, as fans are out there supporting our team. So within that rich tradition, you always have something to attest to.
Yes. And Crevonte, you're wrong. As a matter of fact, the Ravens will probably win a championship before Washington.
Ray Lewis, I would like to have you fly in town, put on your nice little angelic,
to me, the biggest difference
capes on, and descend and give your word on the Ravens.
What are you talking about with this Ray Lewis? Back to actual football talk. I think it's just the quarterback position with Lamar Jackson. I think that he has a better upside. Like Crevonte said, right now Baltimore, we're definitely in a changing of the garden, and I feel like that guy as quarterback, I think that he will. You can play the violin for you want to or you want, but I mean, you'll be saying the same thing with Alex Smith as quarterback. I mean.
You ain't got to tell me about my team, brother. I'm just trying to let you know that what you're saying is a long, drawn-out story that has yet to be untold. It has yet to be told.
I'm just curious. What are your realistic goals for what do you think is going to happen with the Ravens?
Honestly, I do see Joe Flacco going somewhere else, and I see Lamar Jackson taking over, and I feel like you said, I think that we honestly do need...
Robert Griffin will be the quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens. Let him get one good shot on the field, and we'll see how this works.
Will he make it past week 1?
We don't know what's going to happen, but you didn't know you were going to draft Lamar Jackson, so then you bring in Robert Griffin III. I don't know what's going to happen. I will not be surprised.
But I think I'll be...
How much is that back really being really good for your boy?
Look, I think Joe Flacco honestly has a very good year, but I think that it's just a changing of the... You in the violin.
Changing of the guard. You said that 3 times.
Changing of the goofiness. Please.
And how many times have I had to do this for you?
I don't care what that means here. I'm a guest on this show.
I know.
You do that to the people that are on this show.
No, it doesn't matter to you or if it's to the people when they comment. Look, guys, it don't matter if you if you comment and I do this. Yes, it means y'all too.
Listen, America.
This goes for everybody.
I give you the green light. I give you the green light.
You don't get no card. You don't get no card either. Everybody, this whole thing, everything is shut down. I shut everything down. All right, this is what we're doing. It all goes.
I know.
It all goes.
He's just asking for a realistic answer that you could not give.
Tell the people where they can find you.
Man, make sure you roll with your favorite sports podcast, roaming the airwaves, rolling with Ramos. Make sure you roll with the Ramos every week. We always giving you out that fresh content. Shout out to my boy Tristan Morris, my co-host. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Rolling with Ramos. The people that really know me out there, that follow you guys, that really love me out there, they know that this is the real deal, Holyfield. Just don't bite my ear. Anyways, Mykell Sade on Instagram, MYKELLSADE, just like the singer. Follow me. I make it pretty interesting. We're doing great things on Rolling with Ramos. And coming up will be episode 50 in September. We've already made a year. So many good things, so much positivity. Got to catch up to you guys.
Yes.
You know?
I mean.
But once I catch up, you know.
Well, I mean, since we're
in
talking
sibling
about
rivalry.
Since we're talking about milestones, I mean, the Flex Zone, we're about to come up on episode 200.
Shout out to y'all. Where's the cake?
I mean, we gonna have between us, it's probably gonna be some cake and some hen dog, some type of dark substance right there.
Shannon Sharp, if you ever need an endorsement, these guys would be the ones to do it for you.
Hey, look, Shannon, you bring the hen dog, I'm gonna bring the honey jig, and this guy's gonna bring the crown. So,
go James,
my brother. Make sure you subscribe to the Flex Zone. Just put the Flex Zone podcast up, and we are what, my brother?
The first one.
Like our Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter, at the Flex Zone 1. If you have any questions, ideas, or possibly want to be a guest, send an email to theflexzone1@gmail.com.
Did you breathe?
Now we did.
I tried through my nose. You know, it's this new acting thing that I'm trying to do, you know. But no. Mykell, it has been a pleasure having you.
Guys.
You know, you are always more than welcome to come here, no matter how many violins and many times I have to do this with you.
I don't care about that.
It's always love and appreciation for you, day one.
All the time, every time. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely.
And as my boy says, as my boy says,
you missed me.
Look.
We're not gonna get.
Come on.
No, get off me.
Oh, let's get together. Yeah.
Byron, I'm missing you already because you tell me that I am the stir that stirs the drink, baby. Yes. Look.
Do you have ice in that drink? You think you can't stir?
Oh, you just gave me another nickname. I am the ice in her cup. On that note, as my boy Byron says, we gone. Peace.